we have already done two methods, that is direct method and shortcut method to find mean or average. Now the third and final method, that is the step deviation method, and this method can be only used if you get a class interval like this. If there is a sum with a class interval. It makes it simple because the calculations are reduced a bit. Almost similar to shortcut method, just one extra step because of which the formula is slightly different. So step deviation method and shortcut method are almost identical. The steps for the method is written. Now as I told you, in the question paper in the boards, usually even in school exams, usually they mention solve the sum using step deviation or solve the sum using shortcut. If the method is asked and you do some other method, you will get 0 marks for the sum. That is 100%. The answer will come out to be the same. But you will get 0 marks because the steps are wrong. So please, the method is important if it is given. Otherwise, you have the freedom to use any method if it is not mentioned. So first step is same, arrange the class in the ascending order. Of course, I told you that this method can be used only if the class interval is given. If there is a class, if 100 occurs 50 times, you can use either shortcut method or you can use direct method if class is not there. 0 to 100, 100 to 200, those are the class. So first is arrange the data in ascending order. Mostly sometimes the sums are given in ascending order, then you can ignore this and start from the second step. Then you are asked to find x, the mid value of each class interval. So the second column we make is lower limit plus upper limit upon 2. So we have done 0 plus 100 upon 250, 100 plus 200 upon 2, 150, 200 plus 300, that is 500 upon 2, 250, and so on. You need not show the working. You can do it mentally. It is simple. It's in the middle of this is 50. Any student will tell that. So this is 150, this is 250, and so on. After that, take any suitable assumed mean. I told you how to take the assumed mean. It should be in the center. So 5 data is there. So this third data, the third data, that value of x, that is 250, is taken and written as the assumed mean. We circle it here and we write separately that assumed mean is 250. After that, like in shortcut method itself, you find the deviation. Deviation is x minus a. So that is the next column. Deviation is x minus a. So x is 50 minus 250. 50 minus 250 is minus 200. 150 minus 250 minus 100. 250 minus 250 0. 350 minus 250 100 plus 450 minus 250 plus 200. So these are all positive, then 0, and up there is first negative values. Now the new thing in this method, you have to find t. What is t? T is just a variable. And what is t? It is this deviation upon the class size. I stands for class size. And class size, last year in 9th standard in statistics you had learned, it is the upper limit minus lower limit. So it is 100 minus 0, so class size is 100. Now statistics, you can't have class size 100 here and then 50 here and then 20 here and again 100. Statistics is comparison of equal sizes. So the class size will always remain same. For example, where do you use statistics? You use it in your one-day cricket matches. They show you first 5 overs, so many runs scored, next 5 overs, so many runs scored, next 5 overs, so many runs scored. They make a chart and show it to you so that you know which 5 overs was the most economical overs or which 5 overs were the most expensive overs. So you can just understand and see where the math was changing. So statistics, in statistics always the class size remains the same. You don't compare different sizes of class. They never show you first 5 overs this much, the next 1 over this much, the next 2 over this much. That way they don't show. Either 5 or 10 or each over they will show separately. So here class size is 100. It is 100 for each class. 500 minus 400, 100. So small I, that is class size is 100. So using that 100 you are finding T, that is deviation upon I, which is one extra column that you have to make if you are asked step deviation method. So minus 200, that is deviation upon class size is 100, so minus 2. Then minus 100 upon class size is 100, so minus 1. So now next one, deviation is 0 upon 100, 0. Then 100, deviation upon 100 is the class size, so plus 1. 200 upon 100, that is plus 2. It is very simple. You need not show all these workings everywhere. You can directly write minus 200, minus 100, 0, 100, 200. I told you when you write the deviation, it will increase in steps of, in this case, 100, because the class size is 100. And therefore, when you divide it by 100, this will be minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2. So now in this case, the frequencies I have written as per what is given in the question paper. And then the last column that you have to make here is F into T. It is F into T. Try to write these columns adjacent to each other so that you multiply the correct columns. Sometimes what happens is that immediately after class interval you write the frequency column. So you will end up multiplying something wrong and you write this F into T ke badle it becomes F into X or something like that. So then the entire sum goes wrong. So that's the reason why I have written F and T besides each other so that my multiplication is with the right two columns. You can write F here if you want, but then you have to be careful that the F column and T column is correctly multiplied. So after finding T, you are finding F into T for each class. So you are finding F into T for each class, and then you add like you did in shortcut method, it was FD, F into deviation, and you found what was sigma FD. Here it is sigma FT. So the positive values add up to 108, the negative values add up to minus 44. So when you add 108 plus minus 44 is 64. So then you have to use this formula. Mean is A plus sigma F of T upon sigma F into I. F of T it is now instead of F of D. And because T was already D upon I, once again you are multiplying the entire formula, this part, with the class size. So it is almost like shortcut method. Only the thing is that since you are dividing by I, in the final case when you write mean, you multiply it back by I. So here in this sum number 10, the columns are made, and when you do the calculation, assume mean you have taken 250 plus sigma F of T is 64. This is sigma F of T. Now it is not sigma F of D. D was deviation for shortcut method. This is step deviation method. This is F into T. So now here 64 upon 150. So 150 by sigma F, add up all these frequencies. It is 150. So into I. I is the class size. So 50 goes 2 times, 50 goes 3 times. So 128 upon 3, which is 42.67, plus the assumed mean 250. So it is 292.67. That is the final answer. Because there is no unit, you don't know whether this is class interval marks or it is some other rupees, wages of workers, anything. So you can write here units. You can write units as the, instead of, because you don't know what is the unit. You can just mention it as units. So we will go on to the next sum. This is again very simple. After we finish with mean, we will start with mode, which is again a simple part today. See, now if you see question number 11, classwork on page 45. you will find that the class interval is not continuous. Last year in statistics you had learned about continuous and included and inclusive and exclusive class. So now in this case, first thing, the simplest thing to do is to make the classes continuous. For example, you are given 10 to 19, then it is not 19 to 29, it is 20 to 29. So you will find that what class is given to you is 10 to 19, 20 to 29. That means the upper limit of the first class and lower limit of the second class is not the same number. Of course, it has a meaning. It means that 10 to 19, 10 and 19 are both included in the class. So actually the class size is not 19 minus 10, it is all the 10 numbers, 10, 11, 12 up to 19, that is class size is 10. But generally people make mistake in that and then they write 9 minus 10, 19 minus 10, that is 9. So to avoid all that in statistics, the best thing to do in OJS, it is compulsory to do class interval when we find the median. But in this also it is better that you do the class interval so that once you adjust the class, then 19.5 minus 9.5 is 10, the class size is 10, is simple. So it is better to adjust the class. Now this is a revision of what you did last year in statistics. When class interval is not continuous like this, 19 and 20, they are not the same number. So we make it continuous by use of adjustment factor small a. We use the adjustment factor of small a to make the class interval continuous. So you have small a, the formula is, it's the lower limit of the second class interval, the original one which is given without adjustment, minus the upper limit of the first class interval. Again the original one before adjustment, this is all before adjustment. So it is upon 2, lower limit of second class interval minus upper limit of first class interval upon 2. So 20 minus 19 upon 2, that is half or 0.5. So usually adjustment factor is 0.5. So in this case the adjustment factor, what do you do with the adjustment factor? We subtract a from the lower limit of each class interval. So 10 minus 0.5 will become 9.5. 20 minus 0.5 will become 19.5. So the lower limits will become 9.5, 19.5, 29.5, 39.5 and the last one is 69.5. And we add a to the upper limit of each class interval. 19.5 plus 0.5. 19 plus 0.5 will become 19.5. 29 plus 0.5, this is the original one. 29 plus 0.5 will become 29.5. So the adjusted class intervals are very simple. Now in the exam you are not required to write all this. You only write what I have shown in red. And you don't have to explain the entire thing. You just have to show what is the adjustment factor. No need of writing all this. You will just write it is 20 minus 19 upon 2. This is because it is the lower limit of second class interval, the original one without adjustment, minus the upper limit of first class interval upon 2. Now you learn this formula a couple of times so that when you come to the sum, if you get such a sum in the exam, you don't forget how you found the adjustment factor. So mark this sum as important also. Important because it has adjustment factor and you have to learn how to adjust the class. So 10 minus 0.5, 9.5. 20 minus 0.5, 19.5. And same way the lower limits. Up to the last class, which is 70 minus 0.5, 69.5. And on the upper limit, you have to add the adjustment factor. So 19 plus 0.5, 19.5. Then 29 plus 0.5, 29.5. Right up to 79 plus 0.5, the last class, 79.5. So this is the adjusted class interval. So you will write the adjusted class interval. Then we take the mid value of all the adjusted class interval. Add the two, 9.5 plus 19.5. It is 29 upon 2, 14.5. Then these are all having class size of 10. Class size is 10 for each of these class. So what is class size? It is upper limit minus lower limit. So you can write here class size is 19.5 minus 9.5, that is 10. So the class size after adjustment is 10. So then you are finding the deviation, one of these values of the mid value from the center. How many classes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are taking 7. So 7 plus 1 upon 2. The fourth class, that value of x, I am taking it as assumed mean. So you have written let assumed mean be 44.5. Now after you take this as the assumed mean, the next step is deviation x minus a. Same steps. The only extra step was to adjust the class. So x minus a means 14.5 minus 44.5. 14.5 minus 44.5 minus 30. And these are all having class size of 10. So minus 30, minus 20, minus 10, 0. After that what it would be? 54.5 minus 44.5 plus 10. 64.5 minus 44.5 plus 20. 74.5 minus 44.5 plus 30. This may look little confusing right now, but after you do a couple of sums, once you write this down and you do your homework, this is the simplest, is the most mechanical sum. There's nothing much to think in this. You don't have to interpret data like in shares and dividends or in some other chapters like quadratic word problems. It is just mechanical. You know what to do, you should know what is the next step. So now, after you find the deviation, you are going to find T. That is deviation upon I. I class as we have already written, it is upper limit minus lower limit, so it is 10. So minus 30 upon 10 minus 3, need not show all the working. Minus 2, minus 1, 0, 10 upon 10, 1, 2, 3. So below 0 you have positive values, above 0 you have negative values. So then the given frequencies as per the question, you have written the corresponding frequencies, 5, 65, etc. So next is f into t. Minus 15, minus 130, minus 222, 0, 53, 80 and 9. So when you add the frequency f of t, sigma f of t you want. So negative terms when I added I get minus 367. Positive terms when I added I got plus 142. So minus 367 plus 142, that is minus 225. Minus sign is important. If you ignore that, full answer will go wrong. Then you will not get marks for the answers. Only the steps you may get some marks. So therefore the formula mean is assumed mean plus sigma f of t upon sigma f into I. So assumed mean was 44.5. Sigma f of t, addition of all this, minus 225. Sigma f, you have got 500 when you added up all the frequencies, that is 500 into I, class size is 10. So when you do the calculation, you get the answer as 40. Now why did I write years? Because this is the class interval age in years. So what are you finding? The average age in years for that class. So that's why I have written mean age is 40 years. So you have to write in this case 40 and then the correct unit by looking to this. You have to write the correct unit from here, that is year. Now as I told you, only this you have to write. So this you can write it at the start of the sum, that is adjustment factor. Here class was not continuous, so you should just write that two steps. And then you have written here, what you have written here is directly the adjusted class interval. So class interval, when you have written it here, that means it is the adjusted class interval. So this is the sum. This explanation you write it down when you write the sum now. But in the exam you just have to write that box, what you have written. Otherwise you will after few days forget how did you get A, that what is the formula used. So you just write it down the entire thing and the explanation now so that later you don't forget. But in the exam you just write what is A and directly do the adjustment. So this sort of sum comes for 3 to 4 marks. So it is important, mark it so that you can revise it on the day before the exam. Now question number 12 of classwork, mark it very important. Reason is because it's another type of sum. Here in the question you will find that in the given frequencies in the question there are two unknowns, f1 and f2. And the question says you find what is this frequencies f1 and f2. The mean is already given, it is given that the mean is 50. So you are not doing this to find the mean. In all the previous sums we were finding the mean. Here mean is given. And you are also given that the sum of all the frequencies, that the total number of people is 120. So the data mentions clearly that the total number of observations is 120. Total number of observations means when you add up all these frequencies, it gives you 120. So you have to find the two unknowns f1 and f2. So obviously last year also you learned that when you have two unknowns, how do you find the two unknowns? You use simultaneous equation method. So first equation you can get by adding this up and writing that is equal to 120. So that is first what you wrote, sigma f is 120, which is actually 17 plus f1 plus 32 plus f2 plus 19. So when we add up all the numbers you get it as 68 plus f1 plus f2 is 120 or f1 plus f2 is 52. 120 minus 68. So that is your first equation. So that is how you make one equation. You have to make now a second equation. For making the second equation, you have to use the mean is equal to 50. Your given mean is 50, so you have to use that. And using that value of mean which is equal to 50 and using the formula of mean, A plus sigma f of t upon sigma f into I, you need to find what is the actual value of mean. So here you are given mean is 50. Class size, please be careful, don't blindly write the class size as 10. Could be 5, in this case it is 20. And many times I have seen that even if you write 20 here, sometimes when you use it in haste, you write it as 10. Because in most of the sums you have class size 10, that doesn't mean that every sum the class size is 10. Here the class size is 20, so please make sure that you write it properly and do the calculations properly. So your mean 50 is assumed mean, you have taken assumed mean as 50. Why did you take the assumed mean as 50? Because it is the number mid value of each class. After finding the mid value of each class, it is 30, 50, 70. The one which happens at the center is 50. And then the same method, deviation is x minus a, t is d upon I. So you got that table as per what you were doing in the previous sum. Because it is step deviation method, you have to find t, d upon I, minus 40 upon 20, class size, minus 2, minus 20 upon 20, minus 1. So then 0. Then you have 20 upon class size is 21. 40 upon 20, class size is 2. So that way you've got t, then you're doing f into d, minus 34, minus f1, 0, f2 and 38. So when you add this, 38 minus 34 is 4, minus f1 plus f2. Of course, this will not give you a number. this will give you, these two variables will be there. That is what you are trying to find. So the sigma f of t, what you wrote here is this value 4 minus f1 plus f2. Class size is 20. Class size is 20. Upon sigma f, now sigma f, don't write that thing, no? Don't write this number. You have already been given 120, so use the 120. Some people very foolishly write sigma f is equal to this addition of this, that is 68 plus f1 plus f2. That will make the life more miserable and very tough there. So you will waste more time doing calculations. So use sigma f is 120. Now here, many people get this much right, but next they don't know how to do calculation. So doing the calculation and learning the step is also important. Some people I have seen bring the 50 down here, it makes it division. Why? It is 50 plus something. So why are you dividing? You have to, when you shift this here, this 50 will become minus. So it will become 50 minus 50, which is 0. So that is simple. So you don't sit here and take the LCM and all those things. You can get the answer that way also, but it is long. You will waste time, and finally at the end of the board paper, there are 4-5 students, out of 100, 5 students will cry, telling that mera 3 marks ka ek sum chhoot gaya, I couldn't finish it. Someone will tell I couldn't do 2 sums because the paper was very lengthy. At the same time, you have students who will tell, sir, I finished 15 minutes early and then I had time to check also. That is because you waste time in calculations or you think and sit. Now this 0 and 0 will get cut and 2 goes directly 6 times. So I told you this was a plus. So when you bring it here, it is minus. So 50 minus 50 is 0. 0 into 6 remains 0. So 4 minus f1 plus f2 is equal to 0. Or f1 minus f2 is equal to 4. So now you have made 2 equations. One from sigma f and one from the mean formula. Now all you need to do is add the 2 equations. You will get 2f1, f2 gets cancelled. 2f1 is 56. Or f1 you will get it as 28. Then you substitute that 28 in this equation, you will get f2 as 24. Your answer is f1 and f2's values. That is what is asked. You are already given mean. This sum mark it important and do practice the calculation. I have told many times that not only copy the sum and keep it there, but before the exams when you revise, try to solve the sum without looking. Don't look at the solution when you are learning it the second time. First you look at it and copy it and keep it in your book. But later when you are learning, just take the textbook and try and solve those sums in which you have marked important. Mark important in the textbook. And when in the Anish tutorial book you refer, you see and do those sums without looking. When you do it without looking, maybe you will make mistakes. But you have the correct solution with you, so then open that book. Check what you are doing wrong. See, that is the best way you learn. First you have understood. Now what you have done is you have only understood how to solve. You will write it down and keep it okay. You have understood one part of learning. When you do revision, solve the same sum without looking. You will come to know where you are going wrong. Check it with the solution when you are not getting the answers. So when you do that, you will be able to master it. Then your exam paper won't be a rough paper. Otherwise, you will do scribbling and scratching in the test when we hold test or when school holds test. So to avoid that, follow this method. We go to the next sum now. Now the 13th sum, a very simple sum. Only difference is in this sum you are given the histogram. The histogram is already given and drawn and given to you. And from the histogram you have to write the class interval and the corresponding frequency. So first class, on the x-axis you are finding score. That is the class interval. Always class interval will be on x-axis. So 0 to 10. That is having frequency 2. Then 10 to 20, frequency corresponding to that class is 4. 20 to 30, corresponding frequency is 5. 30 to 40, corresponding frequency is 3. 40 to 50 corresponding frequency is 2. So those are the frequency and class interval that you have to look at the graph that is given and write. The rest of the sum after that is same. Here you just have to interpret the graph and write the class interval and corresponding frequencies. The rest is same. So the first one, mid value 5, 15, 25, 35, 45. Out of that, assume mean the one in the center is 25. Class size of all the classes 10. So now you have the rest of the sum same. So deviation 5 minus 25, that is minus 20. 15 minus 25 minus 10. 25 minus 25 0. Then 35 minus 25 plus 10. 45 minus 25 plus 20. Then you are finding t, because this is step deviation method. So deviation upon I. So I is 10. So minus 2, minus 1, 0, 10 upon 10, 1, 20 upon 10, 2. So that is the value of t. Now after that you have f into t. Minus 4, 0, 3 and 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. Minus 4 and minus 4 minus 8. So when you add this, you get minus 1. Sigma f, addition of all these frequencies will give you 16. So mean is, use the step deviation formula. A is 25. Sigma f of t is minus 1. Sigma f is 16 and class size is 10. So when you do the calculations, you get 24.375. You have to find the answer correct up to 1 decimal. Question is given. See, that is one thing you have to be sure you are doing, because if the question it is not given correct up to 1 decimal place, then in that case you will get it wrong. So in this case, when you find the answer correct up to 1 decimal, the answer is 24.4. It is 375. So because the second decimal place is greater than 5 or greater than 5, so you will add 1 to the previous decimal place. So 24.4, that is what? X-axis, score. So that is the mean score. Mean score is 24.4 marks or score. In this case, since x-axis shows score, write score. So that's the final answer. Now be careful with the 14 sum. The last homework sum of mean is identical to this. What is unique in this? In this sum, you are given not the frequency. For example, the chart tells you less than 5 marks, 3 students. Less than 10 marks, 10 students. Now what is less than 10? Doesn't it include those 3 also? Yes. So actually, less than 10 includes all those who have got less than 5 also. 0 to 5 and 5 to 10, all those students will be part of less than 10. Similarly, less than 15 will include those who got less than 5, less than 10. So, you remember last year you did statistics. In that we had seen something known as cumulative frequency. So in this chart, when you are given marks less than, what you are given corresponding to that is the cumulative frequency. For example, less than 40 marks, let's assume it's a unit test. Less than 40 marks, the entire class, full class, 80 students, everyone has got less than 40 marks. Because the total is out of 40 itself. So obviously the entire class has got less than 40 marks. So the chart that is given in the question, when you are given less than, that is not the frequency, that's the cumulative frequency. So from the cumulative frequency, you will have to find what is the frequency of each class interval separately. For example, less than 5 marks means 0 to 5 marks. Now if you are finding 0 to 5 marks, the cumulative frequency and frequency is the same. There is no difference. The first one is same. Now the second one, less than 10 marks. This includes this group as well as this group. You are given that this group less than 10 has 10 students, out of which 3 students are already there in less than 5. So how many are there in 5 to 10 ka group? It is 10 minus 3. So 7 students is the frequency in the second group, that is 5 to 10 group. 5 marks to 10 mark group, there are 7 students. Less than 15 means these two groups are already included in that. So less than 15, there are total of 25 students. That means these 3 and 7, these 10 are already included in the previous groups. So what happens in this particular group, 10 to 15, that group is 25 cumulative frequency minus that 3 and 10, that is 3 and 7, that is 10. So 25 minus the previous frequency CF, that is 15. Same way for 20, easy way out, 49 minus 25, that is 49 minus 25 is 24. The next one is 65 minus 49, 16. 73 minus 65, 8. Then you have 78 minus 73, that is 5. And the last one is 80 minus 78, that is 2. That means how many students got 35 to 40 marks? It is the difference of this two. Only 2 students came 35 to 40 marks. Each group, when you add up all this, what will you get? 3 plus 7, 15, 24, 16, 8, 5 and 2. You will get the class total number of students, that is 60. What you have written, that is 80. What you have written here is just in each group how many students are there. This is what you require, because what is this? This is the frequency. You are given the cumulative frequency. So how to find cumulative frequency? Say frequency, first one remains the same, 10 minus 3, 7, 25 minus 10, 15, 49 minus 25, 24, 65 minus 49, 16, 73 minus 65, 8, and so on. So it is easy to find the frequency from the cumulative frequency table. And what made you realize that this is cumulative frequency? Because you are given this as marks less than. You were not given the particular groups and the corresponding frequencies. You were told less than 5 there are 3 students, less than 10 there are 10 students, which means this less than 10 is already including these 3. And same way, less than 40 there are 80 students, means in other words the test was written by 80 students. That's the total number of students. Once you find the frequency, the rest of the sum is very similar to any other sum in which you are using step deviation method. So in this class, the mid value 2.5, 7.5, 12.5, 17.5, 22.5 and so on. After that, since there is total 8 data, the fourth one, 8 upon 2, the fourth data in ascending order, that we have taken and written as assumed mean. So assumed mean is 17.5. Once you have written the assumed mean, next is deviation, that is x minus a. 2.5 minus 17.5 minus 15. 7.5 minus 17.5 minus 10. 12.5 minus 17.5, that is minus 5. Then it becomes 0. 22.5 minus 17.5, now plus values. So plus 5, then plus 10, plus 15 and plus 20. So this is step deviation method. So we have to divide it by the class size. What is the class size? Every class size is 5 in this case. So minus 15 by 5 minus 3, then minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then be careful, you are not multiplying these two columns and writing something there. You are multiplying frequency with t. It is f into t. So make sure that the correct columns are multiplied. In this case, because you are finding cumulative frequency from cumulative frequency table came here. It is not written besides t. So when you do 3 into minus 3, 9 with minus sign. 7 into minus 2, minus 14. 15 into minus 1, minus 15. This gives you 0. 16 ones are 16. 8 into 2, 16. 5 into 3, 15, and 2 into 4, 8. Positive values are added plus 55. Negative values added minus 38. So when I add these both, I get 17. That is sigma f of t. Sigma f, I need not sit and add all this because this number, the final number of cumulative frequency itself is sigma f. So sigma f in this case is 8080. So assume mean, so the formula assume mean 17.5 plus sigma f of t 17 upon sigma f which is 80 into class size that is 5. So you get this goes directly 16 times. So 17 by 16 is 1.06. So 17 plus 1, 17.5 plus 1.06 is 18.56. That is the average or mean marks of all these 80 students who wrote the test. So 18.56 marks is the average. So you should write marks. Here it is asked correct up to 2 decimals. So that is why I did the division and found it correct up to 3 decimals. And because the third decimal was less than 5, I wrote it as 1.06. So this sum mark it important. So all these important sums you have to revise. Now next frame I will give you the homework. In the homework I will tell you which question to refer when you do this homework. The homework will be for Thursday morning. So you can do the homework and then verify your answers. And as usual, if any doubt is there, you can post it in the group in WhatsApp. So now this is your homework for Saturday, 2nd May. So for Saturday on pages 48 and 49 of your Anish tutorial book, question 8 to question 14. That is total 7 sums. All of them are by step deviation method. Now I have written what to refer. In this sum, question number 8 of homework, you refer classwork question 11 because that's the same some type of sum in which adjustment factor has to be done and then you have to solve. Then same way, question 9 is that histogram where the graph was given. So in that you refer classwork question 13. Then these 4 sums are simple, straightforward, ordinary sums which you have to refer classwork question 10. And the last sum is just like the sum which you just now did, which is based on that cumulative frequency is given, you have to find the frequency and then solve the sum. So for homework question 14, refer classwork question 14. So by then you finish this homework, and as usual if there is any doubt you can post it in the group in WhatsApp. Thank you, have a safe week.